Here is the Queen, who is 96, beginning a weekend of celebrations to mark 70 years on the throne. I made her a cake, though to be truthful, I entered this cake in a competition, but it didn't win. Never mind, we did get to have tea together. There were scones and cream, cucumber sandwiches and little pastries. At an important English tea, you bring out the silver teapot and your tiara, if you have one. This is Buckingham Palace, the Queen's London home, always a focal point for tourists, but especially at this Platinum Jubilee. Outside St James's Palace are the Queen's Guard, dressed in red with black bearskins. Hello, you may realise that the picture of me having tea with the Queen was in fact a joke. It never happened. It was an event in February when I went to Madame Tussauds, the Waxwork Museum, and that's where it looked as if we had met. We never did meet, of course, but I did actually make a celebration cake, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But what I want to speak about very briefly is the Queen herself. I first became aware of her importance when I was 12 years old. Everything stopped at school because of the announcement that her father, King George VI, had suddenly died. And it was at that moment that she was no longer Princess Elizabeth, but she was the Queen. She didn't actually take up her office till after the coronation, but the life for her and the whole world changed on that day. The Queen has done so very much for this country. She has been in office for 25,000 days, and during that time she has completed an almost unbelievable 21,000 official engagements. Can you imagine what it's like day after day to be wearing your best clothes and jewellery and hats and gloves and uncomfortable shoes and doing it non-stop day after day? But much more than that, she's done it with a smile, and there have been so many people whose lives have been enriched by the one moment when they came into contact with her. So I want to tell you that we really appreciate everything she has done and very much hope that she is going to enjoy the big weekend of celebrations that are there to mark the special occasion. And now to the cake. The one I made was originally almond sponge with apple and meringue on top, and this one is almost the same, but it has the addition of cream and strawberries. It's something that can be made by anybody to bring out when friends are there in moments of happiness or sadness, and just bring a little bit of a smile, which I hope will happen. Coming up next, the recipe for the celebration cake. For the almond sponge cake, you need 6 large eggs, 6 ounces, 175 grams of sugar, and 8 ounces, 225 grams of ground almonds. First, separate the eggs and whisk the whites in a clean bowl until they are really stiff. Set them aside and then whisk the yolks with the sugar very gently at first, and it'll take about 5 minutes until it becomes a really thick mixture. Now you're ready to start folding in the ground almonds. Do it a little at a time, and each time add some of the egg whites. Now remember, you're not beating it in, you're just folding it gently until it forms a nice thick mixture. This amount will be enough to make 2 thin sponge cakes or one much deeper one. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees centigrade, 350 Fahrenheit, and cook for about 10 to 20 minutes depending on the depth. For the layer of apples, take 2 Bramleys, peel them and either microwave or cook on the hob with a little sugar for a few minutes until they are soft. When it's been cooled, you'll be able to spread it over the cake. Now comes a layer of whipped cream. I'm using double cream, about 300 ml, 10 fluid ounces. Now come the strawberries, cut into pieces and arranged around the top. The meringues are made using 2 egg whites, whisked very stiff, with 4 ounces, 115 grams of sugar, slowly whisked into them. And then they are baked for about half an hour at 250 Fahrenheit, 120 centigrade. with thanks to Queen Elizabeth for giving us all a reason to celebrate.